Hello guys and gals, me Mudahar, and a few days ago I made a video about Roblox and, well, how they're not exactly the most friendly organization when it comes to, I would say, children's safety, okay, which is a pretty important thing on the internet. And the fact that Roblox alongside Discord are now being looked at by the government for what appears to be some pretty blatant abuses, allegedly, of actually letting children roam pretty unfettered on these platforms. Now, of course, for anybody that doesn't know Roblox, you can go to roblox.com, go and put in your birthday, any day you wanted, really. Okay, you could be a minor, you could be an adult, I don't really care. Throw in a username, throw in a password, pick one of your genders, optional by the way, and just sign right up. And as long as you have any supported platform, whether it be on your mobile devices, whether it be on your consoles, whether it be on your computer right here, anything that basically, just has an actual piece of silicon inside it and runs electricity, you can pretty much play Roblox on. And yeah, there's a lot of games underneath it. Now, before we jump into this, I don't want to say that Roblox is entirely I don't want to say that Roblox has no purpose. There's a lot of cool stuff that happens. For instance, if I want to play games like Call of Duty Modern Warfare without downloading 300 gigabytes to my system, okay, I can just play it underneath Roblox, okay? A very minuscule fraction of the download. And again, the same, if not, I would say, better gameplay in most cases. You want to play some Battlefield? It's all within Roblox. You want to play some actual fun-looking games? Roblox has them. There's a lot of creativity and a lot of cool communities, both good and bad, underneath Roblox. All right, I've covered a few of them myself. Okay, I've looked at weird poop cults on the platform 2 years ago, but this isn't about that. This is more about Roblox and some of their most blatantly dumb actions as of recently. Now, when it comes to Roblox and some of the weird content on there, obviously there are some games that you'll probably find sitting around on TikTok if you want to get footage of them. So this clip from 2023, just one clip that I found, had one user effectively going around playing the role of a police officer, shooting up what appears to be, again, an actual place of learning, and an educational place, so to speak. Now, obviously, I'm not going to be able to show you much of this footage on the internet just because it's definitely something that would be kind of playing loosey-goosey with the YouTube terms of service, okay? Again, I don't want to get age-restricted covering this kind of stuff. That usually kills any video. But to give you an idea what the comments are seeing over here, obviously somebody throws in American Simulator, so you could probably figure out the joke here, you know what I mean? All right? Nashville School District Roleplay. Blood made a new Ulvad. Yeah, you can figure out the joke. Okay? You can figure out what's being displayed on the screen. Now, I'm not going to say these videos are hyper viral, okay? Some of them literally have likes in the double digits, but the point of this was to show you that in amongst all of the stuff on Roblox, this kind of content pretty much still remains relatively unfettered and accessible for a lot of children watching, okay? A lot of kids can go into entire combat experiences on Roblox that would have maps that would be super controversial to M-rated games, like Ready or Not, which I played. Games that have schools and universities in them. Games that received a lot of controversy for that. It seems like Roblox not only is geared towards children, but lets some of the wilder stuff still exist amongst these children to pick up and play, right? Again, I wouldn't really have an issue with this if Roblox wasn't a game built for the kiddies. Now, obviously, there's a problem with Roblox's adult community intermingling with the minor community. And it's not wholesome, it's not cute, it's not people trying to teach the, young children cool things, all right? This is a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where unfortunately the adults on Roblox, some of them at least, have been trying to kidnap 10-year-olds. Now, this might be a shock to some people, right? Like, you might be like, whoa, what's going on here? Now, when I was out for this weekend in California, surprisingly, the same state this actually happened in, I was blown away when I kind of read this, but I wasn't super surprised given how wild shit gets on the internet. So one individual, Matthew Naval, was arrested on Sunday for kidnapping and the unlawful conduct with a minor. So according to this news release from Kern County, the actual sheriff's office, now Kern County is, the center of it is Bakersfield, and the closest I've ever probably been here might be Victorville, just because it's on the way over to Vegas, right? Or maybe the closest I've been is probably Barstow. So Bakersfield, which for anybody that doesn't know what Bakersfield is, I have referred to it playfully by my significant other, who is a California native, as the Buffalo of California state. Okay, Buffalo being a prominent city in New York, Obviously, it's that kind of a comparison, okay? It's not exactly awesome. I think EDP was stung here for crying out loud. So there's something about Bakersfield. I wouldn't say there's something about California. There's just something about Bakersfield or Kern County. Anyways, let's get back to it. So yeah, the sheriff's office basically said that in here, right, a 10-year-old missing juvenile was basically dropped in here. The actual deputies had received information from friends that indicated the possibility that this juvenile who was missing could have been kidnapped. And obviously at this point, law enforcement agencies are like, whoa, we got to jump in. So here at this point, they said that the apparent juvenile was communicating with a 27-year-old adult. Before somebody says, oh, maybe they're just stunted or no, they're very much a fucking adult at this point, okay? Via social media, and they were believed to have been in the area of Elk Grove, California. It's suspected that the victim was communicating with Naval through Roblox and Discord, leading to their abduction. So obviously, it's great that California police came in and busted the guy. It's not shocking to me how this happened. So for anybody that hasn't picked up what I'm putting down or doesn't know how this goes, let me flowchart it for you. This guy makes an account on Roblox, right? Basically, creates an account acting like a kid, I guess, or whatever. Somebody who is kid-friendly, I would say. Somebody who kids would probably interact with. They jump into a lot of the most popular Roblox games for children, which if you have kids in your family, you probably bought Robux at some point in your life as a gift. You probably know a kid that's played Roblox. I know. My aunt's kid, the youngest one at least, in front of my eyes, played Roblox Bed Wars on an iPad. So I'm not, immune to seeing Roblox, all right, played by people outside our scope. But generally speaking, this scumbag jumps into Roblox, acts like a kid, joins into the same kid-friendly games, and then, of course, starts interacting with those kids. Now, because Roblox is a platform that does also have some level of, child safety, what these sickos do is they go to these kids and they're like, hey, buddy, you want to go to my cool Discord server, right? You want to jump into this? Then give them a little Discord link, I guess, or try to pass it off in some way to beat whatever filters are available. The kid is like, wow, that's really cool. Let me connect to this Discord server. There might be a little peppering of, hey, kid, let me give you some Robux, okay? Let me give you some candy. Back when I was a kid, it used to be the fucking white van. But let me tell you, that white van don't give free candy. I fell for it a few times. Doesn't work that way. Anyways, his kid connects down into it. He goes to the Discord server, and then this whole situation goes off platform, and we're just lucky that this kidnapping story actually ended up good because the kid was saved. But now you gotta ask yourself the question, with the volume of this shit happening, how many children, unfortunately, don't get rescued by a sheriff's office or law enforcement or the feds, right? How much of this stuff goes on before it's taken care of? And it's the reason why you have entire states now probing Discord and Roblox, because it really seems like they're not doing enough to stop this. So at this moment in time, a friend of the channel, a good content creator known as RubenSim, actually enters into the mix. Now, for anybody that doesn't know RubenSim is a popular YouTuber, 1.28 million subscribers, and he's basically been the man that has effectively been on Roblox's shit list, okay? If there was ever a YouTuber that Roblox would be committing fucking sacrifices to in their deep, dark offices, it would be this guy. Because let me tell you something, okay? When you are him and you are challenging one of the largest tech companies in Silicon Valley, it ain't easy. It isn't easy, particularly because RubenSim actually was somebody that was taken to court and ended up having to pay a judgment in the favor of Roblox in all of this. Now, I made a video about this probably 3 years ago, and it was pretty sad in a lot of cases because the more and more you watch this video, the more and more you read Roblox's case, they basically targeted him on ban evasion and abusing the terms of services for Roblox, which I guess they probably were able to convince a judge. It really seemed like it was that way. And for as controversial as RubenSim is in regards to the furry community and being edgy, I would say that the good RubenSim has done greatly outweighs a lot of the bad that I guess he's ever done in this situation too. And one of the good things that RubenSim did in all of this was Row Cleaner. Now, Row Cleaner is a Discord bot that targets, again, the ability. It's basically a tool that Roblox content creators, Roblox, child-friendly servers use to protect their, communities from sickos. So the idea of this bot is it gives you the ability to ban members of NSFW Roblox Discord servers from any server you add it to. So let me give you the play-by-play, right? Let's say that you're on Discord, right? Let's say that, somebody who is in a Discord NSFW Roblox server, right? Which there's plenty of them out there. What this bot will do is if you are in any of these known NSFW servers, you just don't get to join any Roblox server where, children aren't wanted to be protected or where this bot is present, which I don't have any issue with. I think if you have an issue with a bot like this, you are actually the problem. I don't think that adults who are interacting with NSFW anything have a right to interact with a minor on the internet, okay? It just is simple, all right? I don't understand why this is a complicated topic. Like, bro, if you're gonna be involved with NSFW anything, okay, gooning, whatever the fuck it may be, probably shouldn't be talking with children on the internet, okay? It's just a recipe for disaster. But anyways, Row Cleaner is actually a bot that was, at the time, in 17,000 servers and tracking 300,000 players. And it was trusted by top games like Combat Warriors, fun name for a kid's game, Toilet Tower Defense, State of Anarchy, Deadline. And of course, it was supported by big YouTubers like Sharkblock, Studs, Creekcraft, so on and so forth. Even development studios was actually using Row Cleaner to make sure that people were removed, right? So generally speaking, you go to your server, you drop this bot in, give it that, role, give it the permissions required, and boom, all the gooners that jump into your server are removed. And so it's an actual bot that kept children safe. It didn't target anybody in specific, it just removed you if you were engaged with NSFW stuff at all. So what happened? Well, Discord decided to jump in and remove this bot for no reason. Discord is focused on maintaining a safe and secure... you read dog shit like this, it's like, the biggest legal response, like the biggest kick in the dick. You want to promote safe and secure environment? Why are you getting rid of the child protection bot, dude? What the f could you be doing possibly? Why would this action be focused on maintaining a safe and secure environment? So anyways, they received user reports regarding your application. So I guess a bunch of sickos were like, yeah, we find this to be, we don't like this magnifying glass being put, we don't like the eye of Sauron looking at us, okay? Conducted an investigation based on our review. So based on, again, they actually, when I read this shit, I immediately do not give charity. I think that a human being looked at this, they looked at what this program did, and they said your application was disabled for violating their developer policy. So what points were being violated? Do not use API data to profile Discord users, their identities, or their relationships with other users to discriminate against anyone based on protected characteristics. So what are protected characteristics? I really feel like before we continue this rabbit hole of hell, we should look at what a protected characteristic is. Because joining a goon server is not a protected characteristic. So okay, their protected characteristics involve age, caste, color, disability, ethnicity, family responsibilities, gender identity, housing status, national origin, race, refugee or immigration status, religious affiliation, serious illness, sex, sexual orientation, socioeconomic class and status, source of income, status as a victim of domestic violence, sexual violence, or stalking, and a weight and size. So I guess they're really trying to effectively cover everything, but nowhere inside here is this pointing out like, hey, are you involved in an NSFW server? If that is what the bot is targeting, I don't see how it falls under any of those protected characteristics. So again, what they said over here was this was, I guess, targeting their relationships with other users, and do not use the APIs in any way to violate or to enable or promote others to violate the Discord community guidelines. Prohibited behaviors and activities include, but are not limited to, those that enable, promote, or organize any type of on or off-platform harassment. Now, again, if the bot is just checking for your relationships there's no reason why people should be against an NSFW gooning role. If there is an adult interacting with other adults on Roblox gooning stuff, I might think it's weird, but it's not illegal. It's not wrong. Nobody should be harassed for that. But I also think it's equally okay if an adult who is engaging in that behavior is removed from servers where children are present. This is not a shocking concept. But yes, according to guys like Rubinson, and this is where I'm in super agreement with, is that there are actual blatant Roblox sex games that are available. These have been documented by investigators. Just connecting to Roblox, you can find some really crazy shit. Being in a Roblox porn server is a protected characteristic, and we're not allowed to give owners of kid-friendly servers a tool to ban these people. Again, this was a good tool designed to protect children on these online platforms, right? On these servers. Game developers used it, companies used it, content creators used it. This was a good tool to have, and it did a good job protecting children. It was a net positive. Now, I don't want this to sound deep-throaty. There were controversies, obviously, with Row Cleaner. You could talk about, possible issues with maybe things like data collection. Like if you use a bot like this, you could be flagged. That can put you into an entire list. That'll prevent you from getting into games in the future. I'm sure that there were people that were flagged for joining a community, an NSFW or a condo community, as I guess some of the Roblox type of people would say. I don't know, like 3-4 years ago, for instance. And maybe you're not part of those communities right now, and you might be wondering, why am I getting removed? And yeah, you could even argue that there might be a ethical implication regarding things like profiling there. But look, when it comes down to it, I think it's a symptom of a much larger problem. If people in the community need to develop tools, develop programs that are, designed to protect children from, again, this intermingling community of adults and minors, which it is problematic, right? Like, again, we've had cases where literal kidnappings were done over Roblox and transitioning communications to Discord. The fact that the community has to come together to develop third-party solutions when really it shouldn't have even come to this point. What should happen, first and foremost, is Roblox and Discord should be putting in their utmost effort to prevent this intermingling from occurring in the first place. And it really feels like it's gonna need a million pieces of bad news to come out before Roblox and Discord, actually do anything. And the thing about Discord, for instance, too, is right. It'll take governments to subpoena and investigate you before things that should have been done, I would say, years ago actually happen. This is not the first, and it will not be the last case of these hyper-popular platforms being used for nefarious purposes by nefarious individuals. It's just a big problem. The fact that this plugin existed is just a sign that Roblox should have done, or Discord in this case, should have done a million times more than what they're currently doing. I think that's the important part to see over here. Obviously, you can't say that what RubenSim is doing isn't without any form of fault. You can't, not question the individual. You can't not question Row Cleaner. There are valid criticisms. But I think you also have to ask yourself why third-party moderation needs to be a thing, and why it's this prevalent, where tens upon tens of thousands of people had to be banned, or at least cataloged, before Discord jumped in and removed this bot, okay? And they might have a legitimate claim to it, sure. I guess they can have a legitimate claim that a bot is profiling their users, but again, what are Roblox and Discord doing at this point where this kind of stuff was even made in the first place? For Roblox to jump in and remove this for whatever reason is insanity. And it's not just RubenSim who talks about this, it's channels like Not Text-to-Speech. There's a lot of people that have talked about how bad Roblox's online moderation is, right? And the thing is, Discord, literally wasn't even involved in this, but it seems like when Discord jumps in to stop this kind of a bot, it almost, again, it's hard to not look at some level of relationship with each other, right? It's weird when a company like this does it. Discord has a lot of problems with child safety, but when they're specifically looking at a bot like this and getting rid of a net positive, it makes you really wonder how much platforms like this truly give a shit about the actual children that are present, right? So yeah, Discord is without a doubt one of the stupidest decisions that I've actually ever seen made by their platform. And the fact that this isn't even the beginning of it. Literally a couple days ago, it feels like the wind is blowing against a lot of these companies. Like for Roblox in specific, there are entire groups now that have started to show up. This is an actual ADL article where, again, they started to talk about a group known as ASS, which is a new company that is in Roblox, one known as Active Shooter Studios. Now, obviously, their logo is a Tech-9 SMG, and you don't have to be an expert to really, equate this to, them being Columbiners. Now, for anybody that doesn't know what a Columbiner is, these are people that are obsessed with true crime culture and specifically, the school shooting side of things. Now, when you have an online Roblox group that is in bed, or at least aligning with that kind of stuff, it might start with dark memes. It might start with fan fiction that glorifies, again, killers, according to what the ADL would say. And me personally, I wouldn't have an issue with like games like this freely being distributed, because if an adult is playing something like this, it's not illegal. But when you're intertwining this with like a child platform, I mean, that is always the weirdest part about it too, right? And again, these are constant issues that Roblox has been going through over the years. It's not like this happened 10 years ago and we're like relitigating it. This is still actually happening on the platform. And that's an issue, okay? When Discord and Roblox are perceivably taking steps to attack net positive solutions and still let this kind of stuff flow away is insane. Roblox should absolutely be fucking investigated. And Roblox should, and they already are. They're getting subpoenaed for crying out loud. They should be looked into for letting this stuff fly as long as it has been. But ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike if you dislike it. I am out.